Hey everyone, Sergey is here. After a little hiatus, I'm back, this time with something new. Welcome to Meaningful Connections, the podcast where we shake things up, dive deep, and explore ideas that truly matter. Yeah, I know some of you are probably thinking, what happened to the old format? Well, I felt a little bit boxed in. Crypto was the backbone of my past episodes, and while I'll still believe in it, I wanted more. A space where we can talk about different perspectives, fresh innovations, and projects that spark the real change. So, did you miss me? Because I sure did. But hey, enough about me. Let's focus on today's guest. And since this is the first episode of Meaningful Connections, I figured why not to start with a topic I've never covered before. It still connects to the crypto, but in a way that's different from anything I've explored before. Now, let me introduce someone I've been following for years, a good friend of mine, Dr. Parag Agarwal. His project has been on my radar for over 4 years, and I couldn't be more excited to finally bring these conversations to you all. But before we dive in, I've got an invite for you. Beyond Banking Conference is almost here. We are covering trending topics, sharing insights, and streaming it on YouTube. But here is the catch: only registered attendees can get a shot on the big giveaways. And of course, don't miss me on stage, it's going to be worth it. More details in the description. Now, back to our topic. Well, Dr. Agarwal, it's an honor to have you here at last. We know each other well, but our audience is still in the dark. Let's start with a quick introduction. Tell us a bit more about yourself before we get into my favorite part, digging into your project, the tech behind it, and why blockchain became a crucial piece of the puzzle. Stage is yours.
Thank you. Thank you, Sergey. And I am very happy to be talking to you in a more formal environment on this particular podcast. But thank you for having me. And yes, it's been a pleasure and an honor to know you over the last 4 years. Yes, we've been in touch. We've not only been watching each other, but we've also been following each other closely. And I think you've made huge strides in whatever you're doing, and I wish you well for all times. Thank you for this big heads up and for this big vote of confidence. Um, what can I tell you? I mean, the initiative is. So should I start by telling you about the initiative? Where would you like me to start?
You know what? I remember the times where we really made. You used to talk not about crypto. You never touch crypto. Me, I'm personally being the crypto
Right.
person. You've been the person who doing the real business. I'm talking about the Janagel project. But right now, the things get changed. You have something interesting news. I will not cover it. Do it by yourself because people need to know what's interesting happening in the real world and the real world connected to the crypto blockchain.
Perfect. Thank you very much. And you're absolutely right when you say that whenever we met, I was the Web 2 guy and you were the Web 3 guy. And that was where the real value addition was because I was actually learning from you. You never did you realize that, but I was learning from you. And I was soaking in all, verbiage, terminologies, and so much more. But to talk about where I come from, so I've been an entrepreneur for over 35 years now, almost 40 years. And I wish the wiring in the head was different, but that's how I've always been. And built businesses, evangelized technologies, identified technologies ahead of their times, and then basically brought them from an idea to execution on ground, and then eventually to get them past the MVP, and then get them to a point where they can become scalable. And of course, there have been several exits, more successful than less successful. So there have been the occasions when I've been ahead of my times and not been able to hold out the entire waiting period before a particular technology becomes mainstream as far as the world is concerned. But having said that, for the last 12 years, I founded 12 years ago. I founded Janajal. Jana Jal. Jana in Hindi means people. Jal means water, and that is what we stood for, and we wanted to deliver clean water to people. So this was a last mile delivery service for people, for communities, for underserved communities in the world. And we worked. we work to install these decentralized water treatment plants where people can come and collect clean water on a pay per use basis for a fraction of the cost of packaged expensive drinking water. And this was basically intended to serve that community that cannot afford this expensive water on a sustainable basis, on a long term basis, in a continuous manner. So that is where we come from. I can tell you, just to kind of cut to the chase, but over 12 years, we delivered over 200 million liters of clean water. We've got a subscriber stack of of over 2 million subscribers in India. We've delivered water to millions of homes month on month. We deliver water to people's doorstep in a very, very agile, decentralized, and modular manner. It is traceable, it is equitable, and above all, it is sustainable. Because what we do is we eliminate the role of single use plastic in the supply chain of water. So I can keep telling you more, but the short of the long is that we've been practicing decentralization and deepen for over 10 years now before we came to this point of trying to now create a web3 extension to the business.
Amazing. Let me react on your where I get into the love to your project, because I'm born in Armenia, and in Armenia always the water been free even till now. The water, you can drink it outside, you can fill it from your tap. The water quality is one of the best water on the planet. And the name of the project, Jana Jal, Jan in Armenia, it means Jal. Yes, you're my lovely person. Really, and it means even the name attracts me to
Oh,
be
really?
more curious about the project. And finally, when I realized it's about the water, it's always the water, maybe number one thing we need it. But just to move forward, I would like to mention that your project tackles a massive issue. I'm talking about the water access. And I've spent years traveling, living across different parts of the world as a digital nomad. And honestly, I never personally felt the problem. Clean water was always just there. But the more I traveled, the more I realized that maybe I wasn't seeing the full picture. Maybe the issue had always been there. I just hadn't been paying attention. It wasn't until our conversation that I started to recognize how deeply this crisis affects entire countries. Some places have the luxury of taking clean water for granted, while others struggle daily just to secure it. So tell me, what was the moment that you may say, this has to be fixed? Was there a specific event or realization that pushed you to take action?
Yes, I mean, we've all traveled extensively in our lives, and sometimes, and you're absolutely right when you say that the problem of bad water is not faced by people like us who travel extensively, because the one thing that supports us is our affordability quotient. Because we can afford the packaged clean water, we never realize or think about those people who cannot afford it. And there was one such moment in my life when there was a lady with with a baby in her arms who asked me for my bottle of water versus the money which I was trying to offer her back
Wow.
in India. And the moment I gave her that bottle, the first thing she did was she put it in the child's mouth, and she made the child drink that water, and then whatever was left she drank. Now that was that was the eureka moment, if I can tell you, which kind of instantly rang a bell, and I realized that to a large section of communities, the value of drinking water is much more than even the value of money.
True.
And this is where the whole process started happening. The crystallization of the idea. How to basically go about it. Water can be a massive, very daunting task of trying to solve. That's one of the reasons most people try not to solve this, because it is such a vast, it's such an enormous problem. It is such a global problem, that it's and then you've got to be at it every day. There is no single solution that can survive the medium term or the long term. You've got to keep going back and keep solving it every day, because the problem is dynamic in nature. I mean, I have to also mention the stat here: 135 countries have 4.4 billion people that lack access to safe water. Now, we've got to consider ourselves fortunate to be part of the other 3.6 billion who possibly have access to some form of clean water. So I'm just saying, so that's where the whole idea germinated from, and then it culminated into an enterprise, into a social enterprise, and here we are today, trying to now take it forward and create what I call a phygital revolution. It's a combination of physical and digital. Being water, we can never make water available only digitally. It has to be made available in the real world physically as well. But having said that, it cannot be made available to people only in the physical form. There needs to be digital support, there needs to be digital interventions supporting this physicality around water, and that is where big water comes in.
Good, good. I would like also to mention my story in 2000s when, okay, the giants, when the bottles been available, when the giants, I'm talking about the corporates, was ready to sell their own water in the shops. In Armenia, they realized, okay, guys, you will fail here. It means no one needs here in exactly in this area, no one needs that water to buy because it's everywhere available for free. And even we, as a businessman, as a people who lives on the earth, know the water itself is free. But the thing is, unfortunately, after some period of time, it becomes commercialized. It becomes the kind of the business delivery of water, also the water cleanliness too. It has to be purified now, it has to be monitored, so many things has to be done. It's literally incredible to hear how this project comes to life and makes impact on making it. But here is the part that really gets me thinking. Your approach isn't just about fixing a broken system. It's about redefining how we even think about access to clean water. And that brings us to the backbone of this whole thing, blockchain. Now, most people hear blockchain and immediately think crypto, finance, speculation, but you have taken it into a completely different realm. One that actually touches lives, improves communities, and drives real, measurable change. So let's unpack this. Why blockchain? What made you see this technology as the right information or right foundation for solving something as tangible and critical as clean air and water? And beyond that, how does it shift the way we tackle sustainability altogether?
Yeah, that's a great question. And thank you for raising that point because a lot of people fail to understand what is the intervention of technology that really can be brought into water. I mean, water has nothing to do with technology in most people's mind. But as far as blockchain is concerned, blockchain's been around for over 20, 25, 30 years. It's there integrally in our lives, but it's had different applications. People associate blockchain with crypto, or they associate blockchain now with other forms of technology initiatives. As far as water is concerned, so like I said, we've been practicing deepen, we've been practicing decentralization, we've been practicing even iotization for over 10 years now. We've got over a billion data points that we've collected out of just water sourcing, water treatment, water delivery, and water consumption. The reason and the position where blockchain really comes in is it lends authenticity to the impact that we claim that our initiative delivers on ground. That is where the proof of delivery, proof of impact is what is established when that dispensing data or that water treatment data is brought on chain in an immutable form and then made available to people to be able to have access to. And this is where we took us, I mean, you're one of the early people who understood my desire to want to create the Web 2, Web 3 alignment and extend make Web 3 an extension of what we were doing in the world of Web 2. And it's taken me 4 years to kind of find and discover that perfect alignment. And thankfully, I say, in the search of use cases, the world of crypto and Web3 also evolved and matured and discovered this term called deep in. which stands for decentralized physical infrastructure, which is where we fit like a glove. That is the box that we thought we belonged to. And that is where we actually started to check more boxes and suddenly see ourselves creating a very relevant, a very potent use case that can be a combination of clean air and clean water. So, mind you, we are not pivoting away from our mission of making safe water available to people. All we are doing is we are adding another layer of deepen, and our deepen devices are air purifiers, which you as a user can install, operate, benefit from the clean air that the device creates for you and your family. As you share data from that device, weather data, with the BigWater protocol, BigWater will reward you with BigWater tokens and give you an NFT that confirms that you enabled 1,000 liters of clean water for underserved communities. And this NFT is going to be backed by dispensing data. So you will know exactly which country, on what date, at what time, on what location, who received how much water, of what quality, what quantity, and when. And that is permanent. That is in an immutable form, and that is where blockchain becomes that trust layer. It brings in that confidence that, look, I gave back, and I know it went to the intended communities that I wanted it to go to. So it's actually a do good activity within what you're doing. So you're doing yourself good, you're doing your community good, you're doing your planet good, and you're getting daily rewards for doing that good.
Yeah, super. I got it. Let me move forward. And, I see the Web3 here meets climate action. Now, when I was going through your project, something really stood out. Your emphasis on DePIN, DeFi, and DSCI. These
Yes.
are concepts we don't always been bundled together in crypto tech projects. And yet, here you are, talking the deep dive. For those who are new, let me break it down really quick. DeFi is decentralized finance, probably the most familiar one. We're talking about this in a lot before. DePIN stands for Decentralized Physical Infrastructure Network, an emerging model that's transforming how we build and manage physical assets. And then there is a DSCI, Decentralized Science, where research and funding take a turn towards openness and transparency. So tell me, what's the driving force behind this? Why did you go beyond just the usual DeFi approach and building something that integrates all these layers? And more importantly, what does this unlock for real world impact?
So DeFi is integral to whatever as far as decentralization basically is the fulcrum of Web3. I mean, that is the principle, the fundamental tenet on which the entire ethos is being built over the last 15, 17, 20 years. Uh, Having said that, deepen, DeSci are the two other qualifiers as far as our initiative is concerned, because we are creating real world infrastructure. We are creating the deepened devices that we have. Unfortunately, I don't have it here right now. I would have loved to show it to our listeners, but that device creates a real world intervention. And then DSci is the act of collecting data from that particular device, which becomes a participation tool. It becomes a medium of participation where people are able to contribute and monetize that data in their own benefit and in the benefit of the communities. So when we say that they are giving back, they're not giving back directly. They're actually enabling that, because all the levers that are related to that are associated with the monetization, not only are they benefiting, but they in turn are sharing a piece of that with underserved communities by making clean water available to them. And this clean water enablement is qualified by way of an NFT, which we intend to build as a water credit, and that will eventually help corporations offset their water footprint, just like carbon credits enable corporations to offset their carbon footprint. So it's a little complex as it sounds. It sounds like too many things are happening together, but everything will happen in sequence. Not everything will happen upfront, but very quickly, all this entire ecosystem will be put together. And that is where the real value proposition is. So, for anyone who looks at the Big Water initiative, and which is why we are still called the Big Water Protocol, it's not the Big Data Protocol, it's not the Big Air Protocol, it's the Big Water Protocol, because this initiative stands for water. It's not of water or by water. It's only for water, essentially.
All right, let's zoom out for a second. We're living through a massive shift. The whole paradigm of success has changed. And you know what I mean. Back in the day, a project could be built just top down, pushed towards by a single entity. And maybe, just maybe, it will thrive. But today, that's just not how things work anymore, especially in Web3, where community driven models aren't just important, they are essential. Let's be real, no community, no success. And if you think about it, Web3 actually amplifies this even further. The whole point of decentralization, ownership, participation, people aren't just consumers anymore. They are contributors, stakeholders, decision makers. So tell me, how do people actively engage in this movement? What makes them not just show up, but actually stay involved? Because you've been built something that isn't just another tech solution, it's something that requires community action to really work. What's the glue that holds it all together?
It's a good question. It's a great question, once again. And let me tell you that all the complexities that may come across in whatever I've said, they lie at our end. As far as the user is concerned, as far as you are concerned, on the other side, for you, the participation instrument is very simple. You go out and install a big water air purifier, which happens to be a deepened device. And you simply do what you understand best, which is you get your value for money, you get you get loyalty points, or you get reward points, or you get tokens in the form of rewards that come straight to your wallet. And you've already been getting such rewards from your airlines or from your credit cards. So you understand how that entire ecosystem works, and you understand how that redemption works. Now, so we are just leaving you to understand and work with only that much. The rest is what we are doing, and we are undertaking to do at our end, and make sure that inadvertently, without really wanting or without really intending to do so, you are participating in and contributing to build a massive global ecosystem that is sustainable and that is doing good. Plus, without having to overcome any inertia or without having to overcome any mental blocks or bias towards Web3 or crypto or any of those of this new world, you are able to participate in an intervention like this, come aboard and become a beneficiary of what this promises to unlock for you and for people. So, what we've done is we've basically taken out the complexity, simplified the whole intervention, brought it down to a piece of hardware which you understand or which anybody would understand very easily. They install that, they benefit from it. I have to also say that, and we spoke about this in the opening of the call, most people in the world, especially those who belong to the Web3 communities, they do not understand or they do not really relate with, they're not faced with the bad water problem. That's because they have an affordability quotient that allows them access to expensive packaged water, or they come from Armenia where they have great water and they can drink out of the taps. But 70% of the world suffers from that. Having said that, because of this, bad water is a poor man's problem, but bad air is a rich man's problem. And this is the fundamental reason why we are trying to marry the two and get the world to basically participate in supporting each other, create a win 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 for all, and at the same time support climate change, accelerate climate change action, and sustainable actions.
Okay, Dr. Agarwal, this has been really fascinating discussion, one that goes beyond just tech and innovation and really dives into the heart of how we shape a better future. I truly appreciate the taking the time to break things down and share your insights. Now, before me wrap up, I want to give you the floor. We have an audience of thinkers, innovators, problem solvers, the kind of people who don't just talk about change, but actually go out and build it. As I proudly call them, our community of thinking heads. So, what's your message to them? What do you want to leave them with, whether it's advice, call to action, or simply something to reflect on?
I believe no advice can uniformly apply to everyone. But having said that, I think as far as making investments is concerned, as far as basically taking up initiatives or committing their time, energy, and attention is concerned, I think it's very important to have a larger viewpoint on that, to have a broader sense of understanding of what am I really doing. So there is one way to simply look out, go out and take a capitalistic approach, go out, do something, benefit or profit or profiteer from that activity, and basically live a good life. The other is basically make sure that there is one significant element that is also contributing to giving back. One of my favorite lines by the founder of Patagonia recently was he says the planet is my biggest shareholder, and that is very that was a very telling statement that he made. I think post COVID, a lot of people have realized that all the money in the world could not save their loved ones. We do need a healthier planet. We do need a cleaner planet. We Everybody deserves a better life. Everybody deserves equitable access to natural resources, and that should not become the privilege of a select few. And any kind of imbalance, even if any of us or all of us collectively belong to that privileged community, by having an underprivileged community in the world, that imbalance is going to come and hit us as well. No problem is ever siloed, and no community is ever insulated from a problem. If there is a problem, it must be solved, because it will have a problem creep, it will spread, and it will touch everyone's lives. So it's very important to give back, is all I can say. And one may find their own ways to do it. I mean, no, I'm not trying to shill the big water project here and say, come out and give back through this. Of course, this is one of the mediums that you can do so. But if there is any other form or medium through which you can take up such initiatives and efforts, it must be done. That is something which should be non-negotiable.
All right, that's a wrap. You heard it all. Take action or stay still. The choice is yours. But hey, I believe in you. And yeah, don't miss me at Beyond Banking Conference. So, thanks for tuning in. And as always, hit me up with the topics you wanted to dig into. Next time, AI, the great promise. It is living up to hype, or are developers just coding more than ever? Funny, right? Well, break it down with a guest who's been deep in touch for 15 years. Drop your message in the comments and see you very soon.